Number 3. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
There was a moment around about my 4th or 5th aneurysm while playing that I thought to myself, you should just stop. And then the other part of my brain said, no, not allowed, and that was that. I loved the original Final Fantasy VII. The story, the characters, the world, the journey and the music. Everything combined to make this adventure that was fun to experience. Granted, I was 10 or so, but whatever. I wasn't one of the people who had been pestering Square Enix for years about a remake, nor was I especially convinced by their repeated denials over the years, citing how much work it would take to convert the world and the scale of the project. Bottom line is that if the demand was there, they'd eventually make it, because Square Enix likes money, and Final Fantasy fans are easy marks. When Remake arrived, I was tentatively interested. It looked mostly right and sounded mostly right, but I was very worried about the real-time-esque approach to the combat, seemingly replacing the original's active time battles system. My fears were only partially correct, as it turned out. For a chunk of the time, I enjoyed the battles. The normal ones, anyway. My problem with the game started probably halfway through, where the boss battles became increasingly disconnected from the normal battle experience. Bosses had increasingly frustrating gimmicks and had ever spongier health bars. This problem continued to get worse for me up to, and including, the final boss sequence. It was nightmarish for me. And yet, my attachment to the characters and their story, stretched to breaking point as it was, kept me on the hook for another. My experience with Rebirth was very similar in many ways. Looked right, sounded right, normal battles were, if anything, smoother. Even the bosses were okay. Right up until they weren't. The same disconnect happened, and this time the story felt vaguer and more confusing than in the first one, so that made the experience rougher to bear. It's still visually impressive, even if there's something about the overall look and feel that sits weirdly with me. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it looks, I don't know, messy? In a way that might be somewhat intentional, but still irks me in ways I can't easily define. And then we get to the finale sequence of Rebirth, and that's where the wheels completely fell off for me. I find it utterly incomprehensible how they made their decisions about the final boss sequence in this game, and how they thought the way they designed it was okay. Utterly maddening in more ways than one. Damn near killed me. And yet...
Number 2. The Lord of the Rings, Gollum.
About an hour into Lord of the Rings Gollum, I died, and was greeted by Smeagol's question,
What does beasts mean, precious? What does it mean?
and that was us off to the races. This game was so damned shoddy and so badly received that Daedalic just gave up on making games anymore. That is a powerfully bad video game right there. Something special. Well, special. The controls are floaty and imprecise. Could it possibly look? The story is entirely unnecessary and underwhelming. The visuals are not so nice. But where this title truly soars down into an abyss is in the jank. Oh.
No time, no water. Up to the tower. Find that Snara before she does. They must never find Baggins.
Jesus Christ. All this because I wanted some pasta. Oh boy, the jank. Visual bugs abound, audio that keeps inexplicably appearing, see above question on Beasts, precious. Jumps that don't seem possible but are, and jumps that seem very possible but aren't. It all gets somehow boiled, mashed and stuck in a stew. A very bland one at that. What Gollum wants you to do and the tools it gives you to do it are not well matched, and honestly, the whole thing seemed unneeded from the start. Much like this upcoming Gollum movie, I found myself asking, did we really need this? Who's asking, Gollum, what's his story? Perhaps we'll never truly know what Beasts means.
Number 1. The Mystery of the Druids.
Sometimes in life, you experience things that forever alter your perception of the world, reality, space-time, and existence overall. The Mystery of the Druids is one of those horribly transcendental experiences. There could be little doubt that this game would top this list, given the things it did to my psyche. From the very start, when I accidentally photocopied Detective Halligan's dumb face, to the cat puzzle, to drugging a hobo for some spare change, to all the pixel hunting, to throwing salt to make a mausoleum explode. Nothing is true, everything is permitted. This game was made by people who had gone insane after perceiving the form of Cthulhu. It's about the only explanation I can find for its utter madness. I've often talked about adventure game moon logic, but I don't even know what galaxy this game's logic is from, let alone which satellite. This game is an inverse masterpiece. Its attention to detail in making the most unhinged choices is surprising, up to the end. Even the little things, like Halligan's incomprehensible choice of pronunciation for the word pizza. It all just hits your brain like a dynamite-powered railroad spike.
Do you hear that? What is it? Bangalore!
What does beasts mean, Precious? What does it mean? They'll feed us to some beast.